So we'll move to Elvy, and I've asked Elvy to at least let you know about the legal battle she had to get cannabis, and the surgical procedure she had and almost had related to cannabis, as well as whatever else Elvy wants to say.
Take your time. That's something you should never tell Elvy. It is so good to be here, and I want to thank every one of you, especially Mary Lynn and Al. Thank you for patience out of time. Thank you to all of you who have worked so hard at keeping this organization, and I would like to thank this university for hosting this event, the psychology department, and all the people that are involved. It's so much work to do something like this, but it is worthwhile. I know of no meeting I attend where I meet so many people with international backgrounds and the knowledge of the things I need to learn on a regular basis so I can live here and for the next 2 years speak about the astonishing things that are happening, explaining the things I go through that I say, gosh, you know, I sprained my ankle, I did this and I did that, and all I did was rub it with marijuana, made my own sling, and was fine within 3 weeks without a cast and no arthritis or any telltale signs. When you see the equalizing value of cannabis, then you begin to understand and are able to explain some of the situations to the public in general at the different universities, which I often find myself giving classes at. That's pretty amazing. I never took that training. But coming to these courses allows me to do that sort of thing, and attending other events for education on drug abuse and drug use and misuse is available. For me, cannabis came radically into my life in '75 when I was diagnosed with glaucoma, and a doctor who saw me going through hell trying the different medicines that were not working and producing a tremendous amount of side effects for me, simply told me if I didn't start smoking marijuana, I would go blind. Needless to say, with my drug lack of education, I questioned his sanity. Ignorance is daring, isn't it? So anyway, I went on to try it because desperation will do that for you. If there's something out there and your world is falling apart because your sight is going away and you have no way to stop this runaway train, you're going to try anything. And gosh, it worked. Lo and behold, it worked. I went to my home in 1976. By the way, I've been using marijuana regularly for 30 full years, mostly on a daily basis. Although they had me convinced that I was trading eyesight for brain cells, I didn't much like that equipment, but I was going to forget all about it anyway, so it didn't. And I think whatever damage was going to be done by marijuana to me has been done by now, so you won't bear with it.
I'll second that.
We tried the different things, but nothing worked, and a very courageous doctor actually took my records, and we documented 4 months of my using brownies on a schedule, on a regimen he put me on. Although I didn't quite listen to him, I only used half of the amount he suggested, and I'm sure glad of that, because I was working at a bank at the time, and it was really important that I function normally, and it does take a little while to get used to eating marijuana. I was put on brownies because psychologically I was not oriented towards smoking and had a big problem with taking drugs. Okay? But that turned out real expensive, and soon under the influence of brownies I realized I lied. If I could handle the brownies, I certainly could handle the smoke. Thank God. So we went to the Bascom Palmer Eye Institute, which is one of the best in the world, and a day of incredible grueling experiences of trying all their things that were available, including literally having the eye pumped. Nothing reduced the interocular pressures I had, which at the time were 49 in my left eye and 56 on the right eye. Needless to say, I was scheduled supposedly for immediate surgery, but I was supposed to go through a week and come back in on Monday to check in to have the operation on Tuesday, and I was scared to death that I wouldn't have sight by Tuesday. So I went to the black part of town with my parents, took me through there, and somehow I scored a bag of pot, went home, baked some brownies, and ate them all weekend. Went to work on Monday, did my day's work, went into the Vasco Palmeri Institute with incredible pressures of 14 and 12. They had never been able to accomplish that. But as it was pointed out by Dr. Bellamy this morning, you know, the medical society is not always willing to accept people who are doing the research and are not doing it under their auspices and by their guidelines, which would have led me to total blindness in both eyes. Thank God, you know, some people step over the line. Unfortunately, with all my medical records and with the information I brought them that they could see for themselves, they still convinced me I should start a series of surgeries, which the first one only offered a 30% chance of any success whatsoever. Those are not very good odds. And I should have never been told to have the first surgery after I presented that kind of evidence to them. But that was because ignorance blinds us. I went for the next 10 years. Of course, I continued to try marijuana and everything else that came out in the pharmacopoeia. Nothing worked except marijuana, but I didn't always have it. And when I didn't have it, depression definitely set in. You know what? I went to the newspapers and they published my story without a picture and without my name, but many people in my community figured out exactly who that was. And I found out that it was a lie, that all marijuana smokers were not dead, degenerate people on the street. Most of them were my fellow banker people and all the other people that held high standards in my community who were very happy to supply me with my medicine. That was the first relief. Oh, this isn't really that addictive. They seem to be functioning fine. I'm not that rare an exception after all, okay? We went through 10 years of that. Unfortunately, by 1987, I had totally lost my eye right completely, and that was my better eye. It was so upsetting. There was just no getting around it. No one was going to stop me from growing my marijuana. And if anyone wanted to throw me in jail, that was fine, because the jail they had me in was already one of blindness from which I would never escape if the other eye went. With that attitude, it didn't take me long to get arrested, needless to say. And that again was the best thing that ever happened to me. I found out immediately what the word of freedom meant. My children were both in college by then. It didn't hurt them to have brownies in Mom's refrigerator, which were not their medicine, or anything else. They knew what it was for. There was respect. My kids were in college. I didn't have to worry, like all parents do, about losing custody of the children. Got 3 more minutes. Oh, all right, perfect. Since all of this began, I have become a senior, and I understand that there are 7,800 plus almost people becoming of retirement age every day this year. Well, I already got here, and let me tell you, folks, if you got the right medicine, I didn't say medicines, you will make it through. And yes, it is the fountain of youth. I totally agree with you on the body and the mind analogies you made this morning. I've come to know them and cherish them, and I give thanks to the Creator every morning when I light my first of 10 joints or eat the first cookie or whatever it is I have to do that time. I am a senior now, and I need to address, and I wish some of you would give me the opportunity to take me to your insurance meetings, your health insurance meetings, because I have been diagnosed with severe arthritis on a foot that I broke trying to be a tall woman back in the 80s. And demolished it. Yeah, you're stuck with Shorty, sorry. And they said I would never work normally again, and they were right. I outwalk most normal people. Hiking is one of my favorite sports. I also have been diagnosed with scoliosis. I've never had a backache. I don't have any of the symptoms because of my glaucoma. medicine, which of course we know is provided by Uncle Sam, and it's 10 joints a day. Actually, I'm allowed as many as 15 because of the poor quality, so that's why I do a lot of eating and concentrating any way I can. I've even learned how to make lousy food, still hash out of government pot. So yeah, I can be used in any way and has kept my sight. My side of my left eye was a 2400 eye. It was really bad. I had a very bad surgery in New York when I was 14, and it left bad side effects. However, over 30 years of using cannabis, guess what? Just about all that scar tissue is gone. My side there is, I'm not even considered legally blind in that eye anymore. My vision is clearly over 1 second. Although I may not recognize your faces, and you always have to say, hi, Elvy, I'm so-and-so, or I may not, But even now that I may be so, I see the stars, and I see your colorful clothes most of the time, and I definitely enjoy the scenery of all these beautiful places I visit. And again, my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for this fight, and I know that we will win, because this is no war on drugs, this is a war on us. Don't forget.